Hello, adventurer. It's good to see you. You have made it to the morning grind.
Welcome, welcome.
It's the live stream at the beginning of the Geekverse, where we talk about all types of topics in geekdom, gaming, and fantasy, with an emphasis on being constructive and creating the things that we want to exist in the world.
It's all on the grind, Sizemore. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of adventures to be had today. Dungeons to explore and monsters to slay, and who knows what a random encounter might send our way. That's why we have to prepare, so settle in now for the morning grind with your favorite beverage in hand.
Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyard left.
Whatever you want. Pull up a chair.
Dude.
If you're feeling fancy, how about a cappuccino? Or a frappuccino? Or how about an espresso?
Just tea, thank you.
Sounds good to me, Gandalf. Whatever you want. I'm just glad you're here.
Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Thank you, Mike. But be forewarned.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Wait, what's that you say? Why can't you come and be a part of the stream?
My wife would disown me.
Oh no, I bet she'll be fine with it. Come on in.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
What are we supposed to do?
Everybody do the secret handshake.
Secret cultist handshake.
Oh, now do wizards who love each other.
This, my friend, is a science.
I still don't have kids, but it's fine.
It's all on the grind, son. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band.
Indeed it would be, Dave. It really would. I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome, glad to have you here. Oh look, here's someone new.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes it is.
Come to hang out? Please accept me. I have nothing else.
Okay, we accept you. Everyone's welcome here.
Brought some snacks.
Well, that makes things even better.
You want some coffee? I don't drink coffee. You sure?
It's cultist coffee.
What makes it cultist coffee? I'm a cultist and I'm drinking it. Oh. Then I'll have some.
What exactly is going on here?
I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. It's so great to have you. Oh, and look, here comes another stranger.
Can we help you?
Yes, fellow cultists. I could really use some food.
Oh yeah? Welcome. We have donuts.
Oh, it's me. I'm glad I'm here. I'm sure you have a few questions for me, though.
What's your name? Who do you work for? What god do you worship?
Great questions, Rob.
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
No, not really. I'm just Heath, and I won't be worshiping anything this morning. But I will be your host. Welcome to the office. We're going to have a great time. I've got my coffee ready, because now it's time for the morning grind.
If you could become a fish, that would be amazing. Then I could command you with my mental fish powers.
Good morning, everyone. Brr, it is cold where I am and here in the office today. I got the heater running, so maybe it'll be warming up here shortly. I hope you are doing well. I was seeing there's lots going on in the chat here. Lots of people here. Stray is here. W3 Techie. Good morning, and Successful Geek. I noticed, Successful Geek, you're a part of the Discord server. Good to see you. Desist Dawdling, welcome everybody. Let's see. Successful Geek says, I'm a heavy board gamer and keep thinking about a new RPG system that uses deck building, but uses a standard deck of playing cards. Maybe each character's starting deck is 1 to 10, and then they can add or remove cards based on items or abilities or something. So no dice, just playing cards. And then of course sell thematic decks with the system. The Nose Plays is working on a card-based system. Now, I can't remember. Did we talk about what system were we talking about that had something to do with the suits of the cards? Was that? I don't think that was his. I think his was something different. I remember reading something about cards with different suits, but sounds interesting. It may have been an RPG or some other game. I don't remember. Good morning, Alathorn. It's probably much colder where you are, right? All right. Inner Light says, "Good morning. Good luck with your video. I'm currently working diligently on another creative project already." Inner Light is crushing it with the amount of productivity over there. So not here this morning, but sending my best wishes. Yep. Oh, thank you for posting the Discord server link. Thank you for doing that. All right. So let's see here. Today is Successful Geek is in Florida. I'm wishing there was some winter weather here. It's 10:30 and already 80 degrees. Yikes. All right. Yep. I've got some coffee right here. I've got some Witch's Brew this morning. So let's go ahead and breathe and then sip, and then we'll get to the morning messages, and then we'll get busy with World Building Wednesday. I'm really looking forward to what I got to show you here. All right. Let's breathe. And sip, everybody. Tastes good. I lived in Florida for one academic year. I taught at the University of South Florida in Tampa for one academic year. All right, let's go to the morning messages. It's Friday. It's not Friday. It is February already, which means I've got to update the morning messages for this month. But hey, we've got the Wednesday messages from World Anvil. So let's go to them. Then we'll get started. The Cultist is our comedy web show about modern-day Lovecraftian cultists just trying to worship Cthulhu in a world full of people who don't understand.
Fish are friends, not food.
I'm a little worried about Rob.
Yes, it's happening.
Ever since we tried to summon Cthulhu, he hasn't been the same.
I'm growing gills. Gills! My transformation into a deep one has finally begun.
Rob, we don't see any gills.
It's these kids getting involved with all this stuff causes them to go crazy.
Seasons 1 and Season 2 are on my YouTube channel now. Each episode is only 5 to 7 minutes long, and you can watch the replays of the live after parties that we had with the cast and crew. They were a lot of fun. The Morning Grind is also brought to you by the Thrones and Bones Viking-inspired RPG setting. The Player's Guide to Norengard packages all the player-focused character mechanics in a spoiler-free package so players can build characters and play without ruining GM surprises. Get the books on DriveThruRPG today. The Morning Grind is also brought to you by the World of Etaltis. The Etaltis Player's Guide includes a new point-based magic system that's a fantastic alternative to the traditional Vancian magic of 5e. Check it out on etaltis.com and get it for your table. The Morning Grind is also brought to you by World Anvil. Check out the World Anvil website to learn more about everything that it can do for you and your world building and your games, and also be sure to use the code MORNINGGRIND to get 40% off any annual World Anvil subscription. I knew World Anvil was great for game masters and for writers who are developing their worlds and want a beautiful site to display and manage all of that information. But what I didn't know is that World Anvil also offers extensive tools for players, including character sheets, journals, inventory management, and spell books, basically all the digital tools a player who is looking to immerse themselves in their character would need. We're going to be using World Anvil here on the Morning Grind to build out the worlds of Rabivania and Theophany, so we'll get to see it in action here as we go on the show. All right, that's it for the messages. Let's get to the main topic. Mike says there was a Western-themed game that used cards and face values, if I remember correctly. Combat was determined by poker hands. Is that Malifaux? I played a game like that. I demoed it at, I think it was Origins one year. That may have been Malifaux. But yeah, it wasn't an RPG, or the game that I played wasn't. It was like a skirmish game or a warband game, which I also like. Let's see. Okay, so what is going on here? I spoke with Brianna yesterday. So Brianna and I had a wonderful meeting yesterday. We talked about a lot of things. First of all, I am getting very, very, very close to finishing the beat sheet. At least the whole story structure. There's some things I got to weave back into it, but the beat sheet for the Tales of Rabivania first story that will become a movie script and a novel. So I went over the other information with her. or those new plot points with her, and we discussed that. And I was working on that this morning. I got up early this morning and was working on that. I've still got some more things to think about, but I really want to put in a lot of time to work on the beat sheet. If you're not familiar with the beat sheet is a document that tells you exactly what's going to happen in the story point by point, so that if you're going to do something like create a novel script with it, or create specifically like used in movies quite a bit, a movie script with it, if you're going to hire somebody to write it, of course, I'm not hiring somebody, I'm writing it myself, but the producer and the writers would be like, okay, this is what the story is going to be. Here's the beat sheet point by point. And so my first job is to create the beat sheet, and then from there, turn that into a movie script, and then a novel as well. And it's going very well. So we did that. We were also looking at the pitch deck, and Brianna was helping to work with the pitch deck. She's a graphic designer, and so that's coming great. Now I got to work with the pitch deck in order to start putting the documents, putting the actual text inside. She's got lorem ipsum in there and everything like that, and a Tales of Rabivania themed pitch deck, and that's so much fun. So we did those kinds of things. And so that's coming along. I'm very excited about that because I really want to be able to share the pitch deck, share the beat sheet rather, with the people I'm working with, so I can get approval to go ahead and write my story and start writing it. Deadlands? Oh, well, that could be it. The Deadlands RPG? I don't know that one, but that could be. It could be associated with the game I played. I also talked with Brianna because Brianna wants to be more in the on the show more often, and I know people are looking forward to seeing her and have asked to see more of her, and even asked if she had her own YouTube channel, which she doesn't. But it looks like on Tuesday nights, I'm still trying to come up with the best order for things. On Tuesday nights, I've been doing the NES or just general video gaming on the channel and streaming that, and that's been fun. But if I can have somebody to talk to on Tuesday nights, I would rather do that. Over the summer, I had tried having Table Talk, which is the show where I interview somebody and we talk about some type of subject one-on-one. I prefer to do that. And then if there's nobody to interview, then, hey, I'll play a video game because there's some more that I want to play. But she was thinking that maybe she could do like once every 2 weeks or something like that, a different subject. So we were talking about different stories to go through. We came up with a list of things that we want to look at. We talked about corruption on the corruption arcs and corruption stories on the channel before. I clipped that out, and we specifically talked about Anakin Skywalker's arc. So the video that's on my channel already is clipped out, where Brianna and I discussed corruption arcs and Anakin Skywalker and why we didn't think Anakin Skywalker's arc worked. We're going to look at the hero's journey next. We've got a couple of movies to watch that are often recommended in the books on story structure. And then so we're going to do one on the hero's journey, and then we're going to do one on the structure of horror and watch some classic horror. And then we're also going to read Children of Huron because we had the request for the Children of Huron. So all that's coming up. That's not, we're probably doing like one of those once every 2 weeks or something like that on Tuesdays. And then also the Cool Name RPG by Mark Tassin, who did World of Ataltis, is coming up. And that is coming out on Kickstarter. And so we're going to interview him as well. So there's a lot going on. Oh, Deadlands was it. Okay, excellent. So that is all what is going on there. So not only was I working on the beat sheet for the stories, or the story. Oh, there is a Hero's Journey tabletop RPG. Oh, well, of course. Why wouldn't there be? So I've not heard of that one either. So I wonder what that has to say about the Hero's Journey and how to structure it. Yes. Oh, no problem. Well, yes, I have been. Well, have I read Joseph Campbell? I haven't. I don't think I've actually read Joseph Campbell. The specific book that was recommended to me was this one. I've been going through this, The Writer's Journey. So this is the one that was based off what Campbell wrote about. So we've been going through. Brianna and I have gone through the hero's journey quite a bit over the past several months, and so we figured we should talk about it on stream. Yeah, the Cool Name RPG. We're going to find out more about that specifically here. when Mark brings it to us. I'm excited about that. We're going to be following both Black Flag and Cool Name RPG. I mean, we're following a bunch of different things, but as far as the development goes, I want to follow both of those. But okay, so I was also saying that I have come up with ways to get a lot more done. I've come up with ways, there are a lot of projects that I'm trying to do over here and a lot of things that we're trying to create. And I'm having trouble over the past really 18 months to 2 years actually getting projects out the door and done. And I've been rethinking new ways to do that. So there are going to be several new projects that are coming, that are new projects. I'm going to launch them one at a time, but I was thinking about new ways to do projects. And one of the ways that I'm attacking the RPG stuff is by creating world primers. If this is your first time here, I've got 2 worlds that I want to do, but I'm actually expanding that, I believe, to 3. I think I'm going to need 3. There are some stories in the Cthulhu mythos that I haven't told yet, and I really want to. And there were some stories that I also couldn't tell when I was doing other Cthulhu stuff. And so I'm thinking about adding that in. So I don't want to have too much. Oh, hey, Retro Nerd Girl. Oh, it's talking about the hero's journey. Love the hero's journey. Can't wait for that. And Hero with 1,000 Faces is the nuts. So I've got some other Cthulhu stories that I want to tell. And I kind of, actually, I go through 3 sets of 3 quite a bit. I like doing things in sets of 3, I found out. When I was teaching college courses, I kind of felt that by the time you teach the course 3 times, you've kind of got the course down and it's pretty solid. I'm trying to do 3 different seasons of the cultists. I try to organize a bunch of different things in sort of sets of 3. It seems like a real natural number for me. So it seems like there should also be 3 different worlds. So Rabivania, our medieval rabbit world, Theophany, which will tell the story of the fall of Lucifer, and then I think I'm going to tell some of the Cthulhu stories that I wasn't able to tell. So that would be 3 different worlds. So for each one of those different worlds, I do want to be able to publish something similar. So, this says 25K words. This is actually 10,000 words. So each primer needs to be 10,000 words of text, maybe 2,500 words of game statistics, and then plus some illustrations, maps, things like that, to, I believe, make a 48-page softback book. And that way, they'll, for each world, and so I'm thinking about doing these in succession. So instead of going, I've been pretty deep on Rabivania lately because I've been making the action figures and the plush toy prototypes and things like that. So I've been deep in Rabivania, but I want to go broad as well with these 10,000 word world primers to explain what this is about. So I have been working on this world primer and I have been getting quite advanced with it. I'm very happy with the way it's going. Let's get a look at how many words this is. Oh, actually, it's not as many words as I thought. Right now, this is telling me, I got to make sure everything's expanded when I count. I'll make it a little bit longer. 6,237 words. That's kind of what I thought. So I've got a little bit less than 4,000 words left to write in order to make this the complete text. Now, that's not all the rules. And I figure that we can put different rules into this. Make different books for different systems, because I found that if you're trying to do a giant RPG book, you kind of have to decide one system that you're going to be doing, because those books are gigantic effort and all the layout and everything like that, which is why when I was writing the Journey to the Tree of Sorrows Cthulhu Mythos books, we kind of had to choose one. But since I'm just doing these smaller books, well, why not do like a 5e book? Why not do a Pathfinder book? Why not do a Fate book and then do a Fated Edge book or something like that? Maybe Fated Edge, Pathfinder, and 5e or something like that. And then we can just add to them until we come up with the collections that no matter what your system is, or not no matter what, because there are like 500 of them or more that we've even covered here and are in the Ravenkeep Discord server. But that way we have a selection of some of the most popular ones. And then we are going to get deeper with each book. I think this is a good way to go with it. So I'm proud that I was trying to get this done by the end of January, but the OGL crisis hit. And so I only got to 6,237 words, but hey, we're going to close in here. So if we look over here, this is Scrivener. So you can actually look in an X-ray and see exactly what parts I haven't written and what parts I have. because you can set a target for each one of your goals. So if this is your first time you've been here, what I did was I made the outline of exactly what I wanted this book to be, and then I assigned a word count to every section of it, and then I've been writing pretty much from the beginning down to the end. So you can see that the bestiary is not yet written yet, and the gazetteer still needs to be written over here. And this in here is specifically for the druidic magic, the magic of witchcraft, and the magical mirrorist rites. Those are specifically for rules, so that's why they are sitting at 0. So I'm coming right along, and I'm very happy about it. So let me check the comments, and then I'm going to share. Oh no, wait, look, this is still more stuff. Wait. How many words is that? Oh, 7,220. I wasn't fully expanded. So that makes me feel better. I thought I was further along than that. So that's 7,720 words. So I've got 2,300 words to go. I got to finish this book in 2,300 words. So I am getting close. Because I want this to be people's first introduction to Rabivania. I wonder how I sound at 2 times speed. Dan Harmon's Story Circle is also a great writing tool. It's an offshoot of the hero's journey. Well, often the hero's journey, right, is portrayed in a circle, right? I've got several books. Well, the writer's journey does that, but also dynamic story creation. That may be actually something that actually comes from Campbell. Oh, thanks. It got cold, so I had to get in here and find something to find a jacket to put on. So thank you. All right. So, but one of the most important parts of this, and I want to extract parts of this, and I'm thinking that this will also go on the World Anvil site for Rabivania. So not only is this building the first 48-page booklet, but it is also going to start building out the website that explains the world. The most important part at the moment is this right here, which is the introduction. I haven't written the preface yet. I figured I'd go back and write the preface at the very end. But the introduction is, if I only had 1,000 words to explain the world to you, if I only had 1,000 words to explain the world, what would I say? And so you're going to have to give me feedback here. I'm going to give you I was about, 30% of the way done with this last week. So this time you're going to have to give me feedback here and see if the introduction is actually a good introduction to the world and makes you want to play in it, because I'm using the Wolfgang Bauer method here. He wanted to have characters. Wolfgang Bauer is the guy who runs Kobold Press, and he created the Midgard campaign setting. And so he said, you need to talk about characters, you need to talk about magic, and you need to talk about places. And every place needs to have a reason to adventure, which includes your whole world. Your whole world has to be have reasons to adventure and have exciting stuff going on. So that's when I was trying to write the introduction. I was trying to give you a feel of Rabivania and also what you would be doing if you were coming to adventure there. Now, Inner Light's not listening right now, but Inner Light was saying, what was that, yesterday? We were working on Fated Edge, that since the Tales of Rabivania is intended to be family friendly, and it is family friendly, but that doesn't mean it's not serious. But Inner Light was saying, does that mean you're not really under pressure all that much? Oh, no, you're definitely under pressure. There is adventure, there is war, there is battle, there is all of that here in Rabivania. Because even though it's family friendly, I take it very seriously, and I want everybody in the family to be able to watch it and want to watch it, not just the kids. Phil Master asks, do you do your own maps? What program do creators like? I have not done my own maps yet for this. One of the things I say about the maps is that everything is, or just life in general, is that everything is here at the computer, and it sure would be nice to at least do some mapping by hand. But I may end up using Dungeon Draft for quite a bit of this, and also Incarnate. I may be using a bunch of those, but I'd really like to be able to do at least a main map of Rabivania by hand. But who knows whether that'll happen, because everything's always easier at the computer. I have never read that. Successful Geek. I need to read my own copy of On Writing by Stephen King. Pan Smith says, trained writer or are you self-taught? I am self-taught, but over the past few months, I have had a fantastic mentor who has been helping me and meeting with me for at least once a month, but sometimes twice a month on the beat sheet to get the story structure down, and has really helped me out with crafting the first story that needs to come out with the Tales of Rabivania. I had written basically about 80% of the first book of Rabivania that I was planning on putting out stories and releasing the first quarter of this year, but he completely bounced that and won't let me release it. He said, don't release that. It's not ready. It's going to have to be completely rewritten. So that's why I'm doing the RPG stuff too. So the RPG stuff can get released, and then I don't know when the actual stories are going to get released. I'm way behind on that. But it's okay. They've got to be right. They've got to be right. Millmaster says, I always thought that there wasn't anyone who could top Lovecraft's writing style till I read King take a whole chapter just to describe a room. I haven't read, have I read any Stephen King? I don't think I've read Stephen King. Include religions and cults? I am. Yeah. Maps, Desist Dawdling says, Maps, I love the incarnate style. My own Dungeon Craft campaign cartographer as well, and I enjoy freehanding the Procreate for city maps. I thought about campaign cartographer, but I think there are other things now. We were looking at campaign cartographer when we were thinking about the Journey to the Tree of Sorrows books. All right. See you later, Successful Geek. All right. I'm going to go over and I'm going to give you this introduction, and you tell me what you think. I want to know, because I think it's pretty, I mean, it's ready to share. So it's pretty close. Brianna gave me some feedback. I did some editing on it yesterday. And then this is also going to become, this will be the first part here of this book, and it will also become the first part of the main page of the World Anvil site. Okay, so chapter 1, A Call to Arms, an introduction to Rabivania. And so this is actually an in-universe text written by one of the characters. We were talking about that. I think Trey was talking about that. I do love in-universe text. With 10,000 words, there aren't a whole lot of words for in-universe text, but I decided the introduction needed to be. All right, so here we go. A Call to Arms. In ancient days, according to the tales the Druids tell, rabbits were but frightened creatures cowering in their burrows in fear of the terrible monster Anorda, who ruled the world. But all that changed when Clovis, son of stars and thunder, a rabbit like no other, was born. He taught the other rabbits what it meant to be brave, brought flame from the world fire, smelted metals, and by his paws the first weapons were wrought. With them he slew Anorda and brought her reign of terror to an end, forging a new destiny for all rabbit kind. Rabbits became masters of their fate and established the kingdom of Rabivania, with Clovis ruling as its Vortigern. When armed and armored from the forge of Clovis, the gallant rabbit warriors had little to fear and carved Rabivania from the wilderness, sending other creatures who would do them harm to flight. The great warrens of the realm were safe under the aegis of Clovis and his mighty thanes. They lived in harmony with the spirit of tree, root, stream, and rock, through the guidance of the druids and witches. But alas, even the days of Clovis came to an end, and in time, the memory of great Clovis faded into legend. Without worthy foes to keep their attention, the rabbits turned their swords upon one another, and terrible battles were waged. The bloodiest of these battles was at Callan Mere, the site of a 3-day-long battle that turned the lake's waters red with blood. But with this death, new hope for salvation emerged. For within the lake dwelt a beautiful rabbit doe, the mother of the mere. She wept for the deaths of the rabbits upon the shore. When the rabbits of the encamped hosts awoke on the morning of the 4th day, walking in the mists among the dead was the mother's most powerful servant, the first Magus of the Mist, a doe of surpassing beauty. With her were 9 beautiful maidens, the damsels of the blood royal, does of great virtue, who were her servants. Each damsel was garbed in white with golden trim. They shamed the rabbit lords and made them look upon the bodies of their fathers, brothers, and sons who had been slain in the battle. The Magus told them of the mother of the lake, how she loved them, and how her heart was breaking to see such carnage. The hearts of the rabbit warriors removed, and they knelt down to worship the doe within the mere. Thus it was that the merest religion came to Rabivania. The mages called forward 13 rabbits of the greatest virtue to confer upon them the accolade of knighthood. They swore to live according to the faith of the mother, protect the weak and defenseless, combat injustice, always speak the truth, and ever display bravery and honor. They were girt with white belts, and with a slender sword she dubbed them the first knights of Rabivania. She told the damsels to scour the land far and wide until they had found a rabbit worthy of being crowned High King of Rabivania, to unify the kingdom and be the protector of the mother's faith. She charged the knights to be the damsels' protectors as they traveled. At long last the damsels found the rabbit Aiden, who would be called the Bear, as upon his shield and banner he bore a black bear upon a white shield. The damsels brought him to the bank of Callan Mere, and there the mages crowned him High King of Rabivania. Aiden brought the rebellious rabbit lords to heel and restored order and sanity to Rabivania. No rat, weasel, or raccoon could withstand a lance-wielding knight, fully armed and armored astride a great war fox. Even the venomous snakes, savage boars, and other great beasts of the land were put to flight. In those days, Aiden ruled wisely and justly, the perfect example of a Mirite king. The religion of the mother flourished in Rabivania. But now, the tales of Clovis are all but myth. Aiden's kingship has faded into legend, and trouble brews in the land once again. The kingdom is fracturing. The rot of hubris, avarice, and dishonor have seeped into the most powerful warrens. Rabbit lords have taken for themselves monarchical titles, proclaiming themselves kings ruling from their own halls. The mages of the Mere cannot be found, and in her absence, the Mirite matriarchs, safe within their palaces, are obsessed with sweeping away the last vestiges of the Clovician religion and extinguishing Druidism and witchcraft forever. But the religion of the witches can still be found on the fringes of Rabivanian society, and sometimes even practiced secretly in the halls of otherwise outwardly Mirite warrens. Moreover, the ancient order of the Druids cannot be easily brushed aside. Its members work among the populace, and because of their network across the kingdom, their order may know more of the secret happenings within Rabivania than any other. Meanwhile, outside of Rabivania's borders, a fearsome raccoon warlord, Ivar, is searching for a magical weapon of unsurpassed power which would make him invincible, all while unifying the disparate barbarian raccoon tribes into a horde of such size that it could easily sweep aside the defenses of any of the Rabivanian lords. Rabivania must unify against this threat, but the throne of the High King at Cloven Call is empty. With the mages of the Mere missing, the damsels cannot be tasked to search for a new High King. Instead, the nobles of the Great Warrens petition the matriarchs to establish a new precedent. Their petition is for the matriarchs to declare one of their number High King, but it is not for the good of the realm that they do this. They each jockey to ensure a member of their own borough holds, who shall be chosen to satisfy their own thirst for power. Rabivania needs new heroes, those who will heed the call to adventure and can balance the spirits of rock, root, and tree with the true meaning of the religion of the mother. They must unify the kingdom and not be afraid to do battle with brutal raccoons and wicked weasels. Remember our history, the spirit of Rabivania, Clovis, the mother, and all we are. Stay true, heed the call to arms, and remember, you must always be brave. A Call to Arms, as written by the anchorite of Willow Grove Locked. So that's how I want to start, like that. So my thinking here is that the anchorite at Willow Grove Locked, he's like, monk-like. He's an anchorite, but similar to a monk. He stays in a cloistered cell. And he has written this. He sees what's going on in the kingdom, and he wrote this, and it's being copied, and it's being sent out across Rabivania to try to rally the spirits of the rabbits across the kingdom. Let's see here. Oh, Campaign Cartographer was on Humble Bundle. I missed that. That was a nice pickup. Yep. Chilling before real work. I'm writing an RPG, and this channel is like school. Oh, Robert says, this is great. This is great, LOL. I have Campaign Cartographer bought it like a decade ago. It's good, but I haven't used it in years. It's definitely old cool. Pan Smith says, oh, well, thank you. This sounds like a pro. Well, thank you. Retro Nerd Girl says, I'm enjoying the story so much, especially the male-female dynamics. The male-female, the spheres of the masculine and the feminine are definitely a theme I want to explore in all of this. Stray says, can Vision and myself be Clovis Templar? I want to include something like the Templars in this. And I was thinking about that, and it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to put that in this first 10,000 words. But I want there to be there has to be an order of monk knights like the Templars. There has to be. That has to be in there. So that's there has to be. Let's see. So one thing that I was thinking of, I think I might have fixed it. I went too brutal. Brianna's commentary was that up here when I was describing the battle at Kalan Mir, she said that I had gone more brutal and more violent than she was expecting it to go. And so I took that into account and I adjusted some of the wording here so that it wasn't quite as graphic. So that was good. So that was Brianna's suggestion. So this got rewritten a bit after I was talking to her yesterday. So that's basically, so I want to go over and I want to see if we can put this into World Anvil. Robert says, I find maps best to start with charcoal, preferably by cooking sticks on hot charcoal. Interesting. Mill says, I chugged out 10K words on a sandbox world and then got stuck when I needed maps, not on scraps of paper. Yeah, I've got to figure out how to do that. Well, I need to come up with how many I need because I want to standardize that across these books of these 48-page books. How many full-page illustrations do I need? How many maps? How many half-page illustrations? Things like that. Nice and messy to start with the charcoal sticks. So let me go over here. Let me pull this down, and I'm going to pull up this. I don't want to show the show some of that. So here I am now. So here is World Anvil. Here is our interior World Anvil. So here I am here on Tales of Rabivania. And so I think it might get updated. It might get updated again. But I'm thinking that that's basically ready to go. And I want to see what it looks like when we go, when we start here. So if we go over, see, where does view this world? No. Oh, view. Okay, so we got really nothing here. We still got the test map of Rohan. So we got a bunch of cleaning that we got to do here, or probably some cleaning that we got to do here, because we did learn how to put maps in here, and we were hot linking stuff, and so there's a lot of cool stuff that we can do, but we got to delete those things. We're gonna have to style all of this as well. Brianna has a really good look going for the pitch deck. And it would be really nice if across the books, the pitch deck, the website, we had the same kind of theme for Rabivania across it all. So I might have to turn her loose later on actually styling the home, well, not the home page, but the entire website on World Anvil. Let's see. So what is it? I got to find out what it is that it displays. Actually, I'm not even sure what it displays up here. I guess I should go ahead and I guess I could create a new document or new article type. Yeah, this is what I was looking for. There are all these different kinds of articles. Was there haikus, poems, short story, chapters of your books displayed cleanly and with a focus on readability? That could be what I need. because that is an in-universe text. Document, treaties, books, artifacts, manuals, guides, statements, and so much more. Let's just try what happens when I go to prose. So let's put that inside this. What happens when I preview that? That does not look like a preview to me. Let's see. What if I save changes and then say preview? That also does not look like a preview to me. Do I have to hit publish? It says private, public, preview. Also not a preview. Oh, well, I was hoping we would actually have something up because I wanted to see, I've got the section in the Discord that's supposed to auto update when something is posted to the World Anvil site. Oh, prose, title, call to arms. Maybe that's one of my problems. Oh, now it says published. Maybe I didn't have a title. Now let's see what happens when I preview it. Oh. Oh, so I'm going to have to get in here and format this. Well, I don't want to sit here and do that while we're here live. But okay, so that's coming soon then. So we're about to the point where we'll start putting articles over here in World Anvil and kind of learn how to use it. Because I really want that to be what you come to and read as soon as you come to the Tales of Rabivania page, and then I'll put, hopefully I can put other things like the different books and, you know, to go and get the books as a PDF or print on demand or something like that on here as well. So that's where, but anyway, so that's where I stand. Let me come back over and I'll take that down. But that's where I stand with that. So that's coming. Yeah, I'm hoping that I think it's going to really make something nice. Let me bring back up Rabivania over here. Oh, desist dawdling, use World Anvil. Yeah, okay, and yeah, so you know, I was planning on building everything out with World Anvil before they said they would come over and sponsor me, because I actually have had World Anvil for a while. But the problem is having World Anvil doesn't actually get your world written, right? So I needed some type of plan to actually get it written, and so that's why I've started with this. Well, 10,000 words for a 48-page world primer, and then everything in that world primer needs to be on World Anvil as well. How does one get hired to work on? Well, I don't have any money to hire anybody right now. So maybe one day, but yeah, I would need more money in order to hire people on. Oh yeah, right now that's not going to work. Yeah, I think the problem was that I didn't have a title. I had to put the title on there, and then it changed over to published. So I think that was the problem. Okay, so well, that's kind of what Brianna's doing. Brianna's one of the reasons that she wanted to work on the pitch deck. Now she's getting paid for it. I didn't, I'm paying her, but one of the reasons that she wanted to do it was because she's trying to get into graphic design, and she's specifically trying to get into the film industry. Of course, she wants to be a director, but she's trying to get in, and she's also writing the stories and stuff like that, and she's directing things. But she also, like, if she can't get in that way, she wants to do graphic design for the film industry. And one of the ways that she was trying to get in and build a portfolio is by doing pitch decks for films and TV. So she's done the pitch decks for her movies. And then I said, well, why don't you do mine? So she's doing mine so that I have them and they look really good, but then also portfolio pieces for her. Frank, Frank says, "What are the rabbits behind me?" Well, these are the main characters. These are the prototypes for the stories that we're writing now. So this is good. I guess I can show you over here. You know, I'm thinking about redoing my plush toys, because these are manufacturers' prototypes. So these would be ready to put into production. But I'm wondering if I revisit them. I'm wondering if I revisit them and try to, because I only did one basic prototype through here. And I didn't really know what I was doing when I was designing plush toys when I was making these. And so I'm wondering if I try it again. If I say, hey, wait a minute, let me see if I can just try a different type of, or a different style, and see if I can make them differently. So I haven't decided yet. But these would be ready to put into production. But, you know, there's a minimum order quantity. So I would have to know people wanted them in order to do that. But this is Charity. This right here. This is Charity. So she's one of the damsels. Bring your belt down, Charity. She's one of the damsels of the Blood Royal. So she belongs to that quasi-religious order. And this is Sir Merrick. Sir Merrick, Sir Jason, and Sir Bors over there. They're the three main knights that are in the story that I have been writing. And then also their squires as well. So that's all of these. And then here's the Sir Bors action figure. So these are my action figure prototypes. Don't start with action figures. They are very complex. So we're going to have nice stuff for Rabivania, but man, I started with some complex stuff trying to get off the ground. Brianna is definitely super talented. She really is. Okay, so what kind of structure then? I don't want to... I'm not going to go over all of these pieces of text because they're not ready yet. And plus, that would be boring if I just sat here and went over all of them. But what I'm thinking then, as I finish them, so I want to get this, I'll figure out how to get that put up on World Anvil so that we can actually look at it and we can actually start to have a website built out. Then I can turn Brianna or somebody else loose on the graphic design and making that look like a great site. But I got to get the material up there. But then figure that maybe, you know, I'd like to release like something every day, or, you know, every few days or something like that. Here is a new piece to Rabivania that goes up on the site until the entire book is up there, at least this world primer. So I went with introduction. We are working with rabbits here. And of course, there are other species in Rabivania, such as mice, squirrels, rats, weasels, and raccoons that are sentient and are able to speak. But I figured that for this 10,000 words, I don't have time to describe all of them as player characters. So they're just going to have to be, we're just going to have to deal with rabbits right here. And I've got, for the classes, I've got Knight, Druid, Witch, and a Damsel. I thought that would be a good adventuring party. So I've got all of that typed up. I've got to go back and make sure all of this is edited. But I'm pretty sure this is pretty close to being what it's going to be. So that way, if you were playing a game and you were all rabbits, you could have an adventuring party of a knight, a druid, a witch, and a damsel of the royal blood. Then I started to talk about religion and magic. So I've got my section here. I've got a section on druidism that describes the impact of druidism on Rabivania. And then I've got a place for druidic magic. Now, my thinking here is that the type, how the magic is dealt with is probably going to have to be very specific to the kinds of rules that we're using, because I don't have enough room to rewrite a complete magic system in a 10,000 word document. So what I'm going to have to do is, if this is the 5e book, then just try to write druidic magic as close as I can to Rabivania, but it's still 5e. If it's a Pathfinder, I'm just going to have to figure out what's the closest to Pathfinder, what the closest Pathfinder has to it, and go with that. Then later in expanded books, I can come up with magic systems that are much closer. But here, the point of this is basically to give you the primer. It's the world primer. Here's what Rabivania is like. And if you want to dive in, here's a basic guide for how you can do that. More detail, especially about magic systems, will have to come later. So those, I've got those sections. So that'll be Druidism, Witchcraft, and then the Mirite religion. I thought there definitely needed to be a chapter on knights and nobles. So this is a brief chapter here on the knights, the institution of the high kingship, some of the nobles of the realm, the passage on nobility and the noble rights, the archbarons, the rest of the baronage, and then the marcher lords. I was working on that this morning. So that's basically where I've gotten to this morning, and then specifically on knighthood and the order of chivalry after that. Then the gazetteer comes in, and I've got to work on this because it'll be time to start sketching out a map when I start working on the gazetteer a bit more, because I've got to make sure I understand the geography of the realm, specifically for the story that I'm working on, because that's been shifting. Sometimes the geography needs to shift a little bit to support the story that's being told. So there'll be, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 7 places that have short write-ups in here that I need to make sure that they also give you a reason to adventure, so the game master could pick this up and say, oh, this sounds like a neat place, and then set some type of adventure in there. And then I will have a short bestiary with some NPCs for a fox. The rabbit knights ride foxes, so we got to put the fox in there. Mice, raccoons, rat, weasels. The snakes, those are like the dragons that you fight. So might need a different couple of kinds of dragons, a couple of different kinds of snakes, so that a knight, rabbit knight, can go out and face down a snake, and then also a squirrel. And then hopefully I'll be able to put a couple of sample characters in there. But if I can't, then what I'll do is I'll just put those as PDFs someplace else on the website. So if you need sample characters for 5e, or you need sample characters from Pathfinder or whatever, hopefully I can make those up, because as I've said before, as we've gone through here, I really like sample characters. It'd be great to be able to just hand out sample characters at the table or at a convention or something like that and just be able to run with it. Squirrels and raccoons would be a cool group with an arboreal-based society. Yeah. And, as Rabivania has changed, the rabbits have become more rabbit-like. When I was originally writing the story in 6th grade, I believe it started in 6th grade. No. I believe it started in 7th grade. It started in 7th grade. They were they're still very European medieval, but they become much more rabbit-like. I've been playing up the rabbit-like aspect of the raccoons. The rabbit-like aspects of the rabbits. And I want to do that with the other creatures as well. So they're still medieval, but they need to have the feel of their animal as well in there. You've got murderous mice, Robert. Highly intelligent murderous mice. Pan Smith says, does this program format your pages for print? Yes, it does. You can export it. There's some rather actually complicated rules for export in here. I don't actually use that all that often. I haven't had cause to. I'll just export it to something rather basic and then do additional formatting in like layout or something like that. But it will do some rather complicated auto export to you in different formats. It will do that. Yeah. Beavers would be all riverboat captains and lake protectors with floating compounds. I've wondered if I'm going to put beavers in there, because not all of the different species are sentient and talk. Only some of them do. But I've been considering beavers. But the beaver characters that I were thinking of were engineers and architects, and perhaps professors of mathematics, because they're always building something, always designing something. And so I thought if they were beavers, that might be a good way to go. Is there going to be a Raven Keep? Probably. Lou asking me if he could put Raven Keep into his world, and I said sure. So when I open his book, I see Raven Keep. So I think there definitely needs to be Raven Keep and Rabivania as well. Frank says, as someone who is looking to get into contact creating tabletop RPG design, what are your top three tips? hang on. Let me come back to that. Here, I'll take this down. This is called Scrivener. The document the software program I'm using to write is called Scrivener. I highly recommend it. I use it for all of my long format writing tasks. There is another program that I know a lot of other authors use. It's called Ulysses. And so you may want to check that one out. I never got started with that because I had already started using Scrivener. But I would check out either Scrivener or Ulysses and see which one fits for you. But I wouldn't try writing a long document. I barely ever use word processors anymore because most everything I'm trying to write requires a structure. And as you can see that I can get the whole the outline, the structure of the outline. It's really easy to move parts of the book around and stuff like that, which you can't do in most word processors. Oh, content creating. Oh, that makes sense. Someone who's looking to get into content creating and tabletop RPG design. What are your top 3 tips? What are my top 3 tips? Well, let's see. Well, for tabletop RPG design, first of all, I would figure out whether or not you really need to make your own rules. Because if you're just trying to do a world, the only reason I'm doing my own RPG on Tuesdays is because I've just always wanted to. And so I figured it's time to try it. So if it's going to happen, it needs to happen now because I need some rules to go in my world books. So I started to write my world books and was like, you know what? I should probably also start working on my tabletop RPG. But I'm planning on putting other worlds in these rule books as well. So if you're trying to do world books for your tabletop RPGs, the first thing I would figure out is whether or not you actually need to have one or not to write your own or not, or if you can adapt one of your one that's already out there. We were looking at different open source tabletop games, open license tabletop games that could be adapted. So I would figure out whether or not you actually, if you're just trying to do world building, you may not need to actually do rule design. That's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is if you are actually going to do rules, my tip has been to start with how you actually play the game and try to get the action resolution system down, because you can do a whole lot of work trying to make character creation and what's the character going to be like, and you may not even need all those rules and statistics. So my approach has been, what's the action resolution system and how do you actually play these games? And then work backwards from there to do character creation. For content creating, like if you're talking about YouTube or something like that, it seems to be create all of the time. People are saying that it takes like 2 or 3 videos a day in order to grow on YouTube, which is a lot. So if you'd be writing and trying to do YouTube, it takes a lot of time. So expect to have to create a lot of content. Trey says Beaver engineers could be used floating compounds to protect society from their experiments. Well, they could. I've wondered, I can't remember if whether or not rabbits can count past 4. Is that just a Watership Down thing? But I don't think that works for my rabbits anyway. But I was thinking if rabbits really can't count all that high, maybe the beavers are such good engineers and mathematicians because they actually can count higher than 4. And that just blows all the rabbits' minds. Like they don't understand what's going on. But that may just be a Watership Down thing. And I'm not sure that the kind of society that these rabbits live in, if that really makes sense, that the rabbits can't actually count beyond 4. Okay, so where do I go from here? Well, I want to finish up this document. So like I said, I was at 7,200 words. And if I hit my word goals, there's another tip. Word goals. My word goals have been 750 words a day, which I did already hit this morning. So I wrote 750 words this morning. So writing at 750 words a day, it shouldn't take me too much longer to finish all of the text for this book. Now, not the rule system, but the text for this book. So my immediate plan is to continue to hammer out these words to make sure that I have all of the words for the world building part of this. And then I think we come back to, then I go through it again and I start adding in the rules. For I think 5e Pathfinder, I'm not sure if I'll be ready for Fated Edge yet, but I don't know whether I should probably do Pathfinder first. I'm kind of more familiar with 5e. We're still learning Pathfinder, but jump in on one of those and start creating and then figure out how exactly we can get this out. All right. Well, that is World Building Wednesday. So I feel like good progress is being made. You know, I started doing these live streams hoping to get myself out of bed and get myself moving on stuff and actually getting stuff done. So I feel like I'm accomplishing that on the Tuesday and world building Wednesdays. And we can add stuff to that World Anvil page day by day. That way we're not just waiting around until Wednesday. So that might become some type of segment that occurs periodically. Every 2 or 3 days. Once I have a new section of that up, it can go over to the World Anvil. Pan Smith says, I'm finding out the dice mechanics for solving challenges help develop a feel for the world. I agree with that. You know, because I say that if you're trying to do, I'm a big fan of what the feel of the world is, and that's why we're playing the tabletop games and why we're doing the RPGs anyway. For me, the feel of the world is that. And so, to me, the dice mechanics invoke the feel of the world. So, if you're trying to do Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones or something like that, the mechanics that you're actually using may be different. Trey says beavers protect water, rabbits and moles protect on or under the ground, raccoons protect the trees, and birds protect the sky. I haven't got sentient or conscious birds yet. I don't have birds yet that are conscious or, human-like. Anthropomorphized, I guess is the right word. Conflict where their territories overlap. Well, one of the deals is I want the rabbits. They're definitely expansionist, and I want one of the reasons why. I don't want to spell it out, but I kind of feel like in the background, the rabbits have a bunch of kids. I mean, they've got huge families, and of course, they do that because they're prey. They are the prey animals. But all of a sudden, if you give the rabbits armor and swords, not as many of them are dying because they're not getting eaten as fast. So they just stay around. One of the reasons why the rabbits are expansionistic in Rabivania is because they're just a lot of these rabbits. And that's also probably why they're difficult to conquer, because they've got this gigantic population on their side. I'm just thinking about that as kind of one of the background things. There are probably a lot of rabbits in Rabivania. In one of my games, I still want to make a lore master Trey like a librarian. All right. Well, everybody, that is it for right now. We should have, if everything goes right, we should do the wind down tonight. So everybody work on your moving your big rocks. Stay on your diet. I've been losing weight. I've noticed already being on carnivore. Stay on your diet. Work on your watch rings. What can you do between now and the wind down, which is our first proper wind down that we have done in a long time? So should be tonight. We will report back in. We will stay accountable to each other, and then we'll come up with some type of topic in geekdom to talk about tonight. So maybe put that on the Discord server too. If you've got suggestions, put them on Discord. So we will talk about that. See you tonight for the wind down, everybody. Grind on.